fascinating pieces that I have read in the New York Times in a long, long time. Elliot Kukla, K-U-K-L-A, is a rabbi and a trans person, and wrote this amazing op-ed. If you subscribe to the New York Times, and maybe even if you don't, I'm not sure if it's behind the paywall or not, it's really worth reading. It's titled, "Ancient Judaism Recognized a Range of Genders. It's Time We Did Too." And I think this is particularly fascinating because Christianity is built on ancient Judaism. In fact, it's built on Judaism from 2,000 years ago. So, you know, modern day Judaism, whatever it says or doesn't say, not so relevant to Christianity, but ancient Judaism, that's really where Jesus was a Jew, right? Mary and Joseph were Jews. I mean, this is where it all began. So what Rabbi Kukla is saying, I'll just share some quotes from the article with you. Transgender and non-binary young people who, first of all, this is just, you know, contemporary information. Transgender and non-binary young people who live with even one accepting adult were 40% less likely to report a suicide attempt in the previous year. This year, more than 450 bills have been introduced in 44 states, according to the Trans Legislation Tracker, that make it harder for transgender and non-binary youth to get the support, respect, and health care that they need in order to survive. So that's how bad it is. So what does ancient Judaism have to say about, you know, the diversity of genders? This is what Rabbi Kukla says. He says, there are 4 genders beyond male or female, in other words, 6 altogether, in ancient Jewish holy texts that appear hundreds of times. They're considered during discussions about childbirth, about marriage, about inheritance, about holidays, about ritual leadership, and much more. He says, when a child was born in the ancient Jewish world, it could be designated as a boy, a girl, a tutum, who is neither clearly male nor female, or an androgynous, who has both male and female characteristics based on physical features. This is just looking at a newborn baby. So right off the top, you've got 4 genders immediately recognized at birth. He goes on to say there are 2 more gender designations that form later in life. The Elonit is considered female at birth, but develops in an atypical direction. And the Saris is designated male at birth, but later becomes a eunuch. Now, he notes that these categories don't, you know, absolutely overlap with, you know, trans, lesbian, gay, you know, gay male, those kinds of things. But he says people who are more than binary have always been recognized by my religion. We are not a fad. And in some ways, this article is pushing back on this idea that Republicans are promoting with all their anti-trans legislation, and frankly, even their anti-gay legislation, and you know, and the whole you know, let's pray the gay away, or let's have anti-gay therapy, or gay restorative, or anti, you know, whatever. And the theory that Republicans are promoting is that this is all brand new stuff. Accepting gay people, having trans, being trans, that's all brand new. Well, it's not. It turns out it goes back thousands and thousands of years, at least in this one religion. And of course, we see these, I mean, there's been lots of other writing about Aboriginal and Indigenous people who recognize multiple genders, male, female, male who like male, female who like female, male who become female, female who become male. These are all recognized in most Aboriginal and Indigenous traditions, or at least in many of them. So anyhow, he goes on to say, according to one 5th century interpretation of the Bible, keep in mind, this is the year 400. The very first human being, Adam, was actually an androgynous. This explains why Genesis says, quote, and God created humankind in the divine image, creating it in the image of God, creating them male and female. Now, at that point in time, all there was Adam. He says, them in this ancient interpretation refers to Adam, a single person who is both male and female. Which makes sense, because then, according to the Bible, then Eve came out of Adam, right? So the female part came out and became female, whatever. So the bottom line here, he says, we're all individuals. Transliberation is a gift to everyone because it expands the categories for what it means to be human. And then, he notes the growing wave of anti-trans bills in the United States represents not just a trans crisis, but a humanitarian crisis. History has shown countless times that when a government limits one group's legal rights, it will eventually do the same to other groups. So true. I found that just absolutely fascinating.